Notice of a Wicked's endgame activity of a Crucible has gotten a huge overhaul. It now definitely feels a lot more roguelike to me, with echoes having a huge impact on how your build performs, and honestly, some of them are just genuinely awesome. For example, you can get an echo that causes lightning to strike your location. Yes, it hits you, but it also hits everything around you. Oh, and also there's echoes that cause enemies to explode on death, because what ARPG player will complain about enemies exploding on death? I certainly haven't met them, though if you're feeling like a contrarian, feel free to comment about it down below. Also, room layouts have been completely revamped, which is great and also a little bit problematic, because instead of going through the same rooms over and over in a random order, there's now a much larger pool of rooms, and they have little flare things, like one of them will be really dark, another will be lit with lava. Even if it's the same location, the lighting really makes it feel like a different place. And it's slightly problematic because now there's infinitely more edges to fall off of and die. I'm pretty sure in terms of my failures in the Crucible, so far more of them have ended to falling off of a ledge than they have to anything else. But each room has different enemies, they're grouped up much better so you're able to deal with threats or possibly run away from them. In short, kill all enemies to advance to the next room. Oh, and be sure to collect all those glowing little balls on the ground, because that's what you use to buy echoes along the way. And this begs the question of, what are echoes? The echo system in the Cerim Crucible is what makes it a roguelike. It's a progression system that gives you power as you go through a run, and then this power is lost at the end of a run. Now initially, you'll have common, rare, and plagued echoes, but after you unlock the right upgrade of Essential, you also get unique echoes, and some of them are very, very cool. For example, the Plagued Blood Pact, which you can see on screen right now, you get 50% max health, which is really good, makes you super tanky, but your damage is reduced by 25%. This fits with a theme that plagued things have a powerful upside and also a powerful downside. So you want to balance these things out. On the other hand, the unique Broken Phoenix is completely insane. It gives you a cheat death. If you're killed, you are revived to 100% of your health. Lesser echoes can also give this effect, but they restore 75, 50, and 25% health respectively depending on the rarity. And I can absolutely attest to how impactful this is from personal experience. In my very first run, I completely destroyed the Echo Knight because I had two absolutely broken echoes. First up, reduce your damage taken by 40%, but reduce your movement speed by 30%. Well, if I can just face tank enemies, I certainly don't need to run away from them, so that's a trade that I'm happy to make. And the other gave me 15% lifesteal. So, the more damage I did, the more healing I did, and I proceeded to then just face tank and beat on the Echo Knight, which turns out it's very easy. Also, after playing Elden Ring, I'd love to say, I got good, I dodged everything. But no, I'm pretty darn sure this was just because of all the lifesteal, because I tried several times afterwards. Most of my runs I did succeed, but several of them I failed, and I typically failed the ones without any lifesteal. Also, because I just finished playing all of Elden Ring, I keep wanting to call the Echo Knight the Crucible Knight, because Crucible Knights are a thing in Elden Ring. So if I do that throughout this video, just go blame Miyazaki. But for now, you can either enjoy the rest of my very first Echo Knight kill, yeah, I hadn't beaten him before this, or jump ahead using the timestamp to get to the next section of the video where I'm talking about the mechanics a little bit more. As you can see, grabbing the right echoes leads to making some very powerful builds that absolutely dominate in the Cerim Crucible. So far, I'd say damage reduction and lifesteal echoes are absolutely the most powerful, but things like stamina cost reduction are really cool. You can just spam your attacks as if stamina costs weren't a thing. You also get things like health on stagger or kill. This means you can chain stagger stuff, use a heavy weapon with good poise break. Works really, really well. And you also get all sorts of cool elemental effects like explosions of fire or plague as you hit enemies, or just your general localized lightning storm. And so with the way all of this combines, it does do a much better job of conveying that roguelike feel, where you're looking for those temporary buffs and you want to get cool things in between runs. I've pretty much stuck to my straight sword, and I've had a lot of successful runs, enough to unlock pretty much all the meta progression, including some really cool stuff. And so that brings me to the meta progression system and the Essential. Exactly halfway through your run, you'll encounter the Essential, where you can spend Gloam Seeds to unlock different upgrades, such as the ability to respec, heal by spending the same energy you'd use to purchase echoes, maybe purchase a few items, or exalt your items. An exalted item has all of its properties maximized. So let's just say a weapon can roll 15 to 25% additional damage. If it rolls 15, unlucky. Just exalt it, and now it's an instant 25. This is incredibly powerful because you no longer care about the rolls on your items, you only care about the base stats. You can always maximize the rolls later, and the more variables an item has, let's say it has 3 to 4, well, the more powerful that's going to be. I really like the way exalting is used to polish a character once you're done. It doesn't replace the gearing process. You still need good mods on your item, you still need good bases, you still need good runes, and you probably want good infusions. But it definitely helps counteract the RNG of, well, there's a 50% chance for 1%, 50% chance for 2%. Damn it, that's the 8th 1% in a row. It's fine, I'll just exalt it. Now I have the 2% that I want. In short, I like the way exalted items are a way to min-max without replacing the whole gear system that you're going to be working through up until that point. Because right now, as part of your early access, we're experiencing very accelerated progression, but I suspect you're going to step into the Cerim Crucible much later on once the game is complete and released. Now, with all that said, if you watched my review for No Rest for the Wicked, I said the Crucible did not feel very good at the time. It felt out of place. And I have to say, the new version feels a lot better. It definitely fits more of the game, the world, the style of gameplay, and all that. But in spite of it being a great addition, it doesn't quite feel roguelike to me still. Because for me, the core of a roguelike is permadeath, and the way my build feels vastly different from run to run. Now, the boons or buffs, that's taken care of by the echoes. But I'm still using the same weapon and the same armor, so my character's still pretty much going to play the same way. And that's the thing, No Rest for the Wicked has an amazing selection of different weapons, but if you don't have the stats to wield them, you're not exactly going to be going from a strength build to a dex build to a caster build in between your Crucible runs. Respecting is quite difficult, it's not meant to be done that frequently. So one thing that I personally would really like to see, even if it's an optional mode for the Cerim Crucible, is a series of preset stat loadouts. You can be a strength character, or a dex character, or an int character, or a faith character. No one's going to judge you here, except the Inquisition. Then it gave you a selection of random weapons and random runes suitable to that stat spread. That way, you get to experiment, try new stuff, and your runs feel vastly different. You'll have some that feel really, really good, where you go super far and find an amazing weapon. And maybe if you win the run, let people keep the weapon they started with, just so that you can then take that really cool thing you got and use it in the rest of the game. But it'll also make things feel really different while also showcasing just how many weapons the game has. And sure, not all of them are good. That might mean, sometimes due to bad luck, your run kind of sucks, but I suspect more will feel good than not, especially if you let people pick from 5 or 6 different weapons every time. And so for now, I wouldn't say the Cerim Crucible is a roguelike. Instead, I'd say it's a fun roguish addition to No Rest for the Wicked's endgame. That said, the game is still in early access and it's still undergoing development. So if you want to keep up with all the development for No Rest for the Wicked, then do be sure to get subscribed. Maybe leave a like while you're down there, since you're over 10 minutes into the video, so I sure hope you enjoyed it up to this point. I don't think No Rest for the Wicked is going to be finished anytime soon. There's certainly a lot to do before the story is complete, and before the game is fully built out, and even before all the performance issues are solved. But that said, it is really rare when someone truly innovates in a genre, and I see a lot of innovation here in No Rest for the Wicked. For example, most of the time when other devs add a roguelike or rogue-ish mode, they don't go far enough. They make it mostly just the base game, but you get a few buffs here and there. In fact, that's what Path of Exile did, and originally I did like Forbidden Sanctum, until ultimately I realized it just didn't scratch that roguelike itch. I think with future development, the Cerim Crucible is much more likely to scratch that itch, especially if you get random weapon loadouts and random stats, because at that point, it really is a whole new build. With that said, I'm curious. What are your experiences so far with No Rest for the Wicked and the Cerim Crucible from the Crucible update? And also, if you've played Elden Ring, how many times when you saw the Echo Knight did you think Crucible Knight? Let me know some of those thoughts down in the comments below. And if you're looking for something else to watch, maybe look back on a couple of my No Rest for the Wicked videos where I highlight other things about the game, including how some stuff works and features that I enjoyed. Those will be up in the card and down below. And of course, before I go, a special thanks to my patrons and channel members for the continued support. For as low as $1 a month, you can help make videos just like this one possible. Link to support is down below. And also, a big thanks to everyone who watched to the end of the video. I'm glad you enjoyed, and since you made it this far, I'm going to let you in on a little bit of secret. If you can't get the OP lifesteal combo, but just don't want to face tank stuff, that's totally fine. You can also just stack way too much max health, and combine it with a couple echoes for gain health on kill / gain health on stagger. Provided you're able to spam your rune skills because you have good focus gen from gear, you'll be able to stun the Echo Knight after pretty much 2 hits with a lot of weapons, maybe a couple of melee slashes in between there. And every time you do, 15% health. In that run, I felt pretty much just as invincible as if I'd had lifesteal. And since all of this scales with percent max health, yep, the more health you have, the better it is. So that, thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.